Hello? Oh, hi, darling.
Half a world away, another day. So let's go play on the moon. It's a starry place. We embrace the space while we're miles away on the moon.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of On the Other Line. I am your host, Kelly Keegs. It's lovely to see you. Happy Sunday. I know what you're all thinking. Yes, I did wear this entire outfit, makeup and all, to a friend's dinner I had on Thursday, and I posted 100 pictures of it. I love this outfit. I can't stop wearing it. I wore it the other day as like a test run to see if my friends would like it before I wear something like this on this show, and they all loved it. So I literally put on the exact same outfit, exact same makeup, slightly different hair because it's 10,000 degrees outside. But yes, I don't mean to confirm your worst fears. I am, in fact, an outfit repeater. I learned from the best, Lizzie McGuire, and I will just go on with my life that way. So I just needed to get that out of the way right off the top. Just needed to address it. 1, 2, while I still have your attention, a little bit of an announcement. We are moving the date of this show. After this week, it will no longer be on Sunday nights. It will be on Wednesday nights. Our first Wednesday night show will be June 1st, and it will be at 7 p.m. instead of 8 p.m. We've done this for a variety of reasons. One being that it's almost summertime and a lot of people aren't home on Sunday nights to call me up at 8 o'clock. You never know what's going on with summer programming, all that kind of bullshit, whatever. We also will, we eventually were going to have to move the time of this show in the fall for sports, you know, Go Sports, Sports Company, whole thing. I was just trying to prolong that because I like the Sunday night aspect of it. I like being cozy with you guys in your beds, but we're cozy with each other in bed on Wednesday nights as well. 7 o'clock, a little bit earlier, so you guys can call if you're on your way home from work, you're on your way home from wherever the fuck you're coming from. I'm already home at 7 o'clock on Wednesdays. I am basically in bed, basically in my pajamas, so looking forward to that. That will start June 1st. Next week is Memorial Day, so it will be a rerun of this show. And yeah, so new Wednesdays, new stuff happening starting June 1st. Gia, what's going on? How are you?
Hey, Cal.
How you doing?
How
was your weekend? I want to hear about your weekend more than mine.
I had quite the weekend. I'm in my Harry merch.
I love it.
Me and Francesca went on Friday to the one night only show, and it was easily the best night of my life.
It looked unbelievable. I had to stop myself from responding to every single story that you and Fran were posting. Like, I realized I kept doing it. I was like, oh my God, I'm on the ground, I'm murdered. And it's like, let these bitches enjoy the concert. Like,
He was just next level amazing. He put on such a great show, and it just, I really felt like he didn't want to stop. Like, he was just really feeling it, and the energy of the crowd was amazing, and it was just so awesome. It could not have gone better.
It looked incredible. It also looked so much bigger than I thought it was going to be. Like, I thought that it was going to be more of like it was like a full arena concert.
Yeah,
like, it was enormous.
It was at the UBS Arena. It's like relatively new. It's where the Islanders play.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was my first time going there. I thought it was going to be smaller too, but it was huge. I mean, it obviously is not as big as MSG, but I think he really likes it because he opened UBS Arena. Like, when it first opened, he did the first
I didn't know that about him.
There.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, so it's a little nostalgia for him. He feels like it's his house. He literally made it his house. Blah blah blah. Love all that. Love all that. The new Harry Styles album is fantastic. I don't have all the songs memorized. I also don't have a favorite order of things off the top of my head. I think Little Freak and Matilda are like my 1 and 2.
Little Freak is up there for me too.
And I know that there are others that I was loving so much the other day, but I haven't given it like a full, like, I basically want to sit like in my room with the lights off and listen to the lyrics. You know what I mean? Like,
that's the only way to do it.
Only way to do it, where you look up every single one on Genius on your phone and you just like read through it like you're studying for a test. Like, that's the only way that I can like learn music, know music, that's how I like to do it, especially good shit like Harry Styles. So happy for that. Happy that you guys got to go to that show. It looked unbelievable. I'm trying to think. My own weekend was uneventful. I had a migraine yesterday, obviously, so I missed the nice day. But everybody said it was too hot anyway, so I feel okay about that. Today I got a little bit of sunshine for like 5 minutes, and I feel fine. I feel refreshed. I got a lot of sleep. I smoked a lot of weed, and I felt good about my weekend. So I'm happy to have had that time to just chill the fuck out. I've been desperately needing it. As you guys know, all I do is complain. But okay, let us get to the meat and potatoes of the show. Let us set the mood. Now, I don't even know if I even said the name of the topic this week, which is stalkers. It's stalkers. Yeah, we're talking about it. We're bringing it to light. We are discussing this epidemic that is the modern day stalker, which I upon doing some research for myself, lock me up, girl, lock me up, because I have done some weird shit that I didn't realize was so stalkery, didn't realize that was so creepy. Only in retrospect do you realize, like, damn, this is a weird thing that I'm doing and that all my friends and I are doing, and maybe, you know, we should just not do this moving forward. But I think that that's something that comes with age, things that you just like care less about as you get older, you don't like freak the fuck out over anymore. So I, just from my own brain and from thinking about stories that my friends have told me, situations that my friends have been in, situations that I've been in, things that I've done, I compiled this little list, 5 always. I like to do a round 5 of some stalker activities that definitely mean you have been a stalker or you were a stalker at some point in your life. And the number one thing, for sure, I'm just going right off the bat, top is monitoring other people's Spotify activity. Now, I thought that I was the only one on earth that ever did this. I thought that, like, when you follow people on Spotify, there is a side tab. You look on your computer. There's a side tab that's like following, and it's the people that you follow. And if they're listening to music, it shows what they're listening to. And I love this. Like, I think this is like, it's definitely a really creepy feature, but I love it because I feel like all the people that I follow are either good friends or people I know from work or whatever, and you can always kind of gauge a mood by what somebody's listening to. Like, if it's in the morning or at night or in the middle of the night, like whatever it is, it's something that I've caught myself having my computer open for no reason just to see what's going on Spotify. It's almost like I don't know, it's some kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but it is a weird feature that they have, and it's a weird thing that gets like a little addicting. Like, my friends and I will text each other, be like, oh, I see you're listening to Kesha today. Like, what's going on? Like, you partying tonight? Or, oh, I see you listening to your melancholy instrumentals playlist. Are you reading or are you depressed? Like, do we need to call the police? What the hell is going on? So I think that those things definitely don't seem, they seem pretty harmless at first, and then when you get into it, it's like not really. Like, I turned mine off. Once I like myself got so wrapped up in watching other people's shit, I was like, I have to turn my shit off because I don't want people reading into what I'm listening to. Like, I can't be listening to Taylor Swift 400 times in a day, like the same one depressing song just because I'm in the mood for it, and have everybody think I'm like flying off the handle. So Spotify activity, that's a dangerous one, you fall down. The following tab on Instagram is the next one. It no longer exists, which I think is the greatest thing that Instagram has ever done. Gia, do you remember the following tab, or were you never really paying attention to it?
Yes, I was a victim of the following tab.
We're all victims of the following tab, but we all were personally fucking offended by the following tab.
If you wanted to get your feelings hurt, you went to the following tab.
It's exactly what you did. And I feel like most people were around for this. Maybe they just never noticed it or whatever. But at one point, Instagram had a feature within your notifications. You could switch to following and see what the people you were following were up to and what photos they were liking, who they were following, who they were commenting on, whatever. It was like a timeline of what other people were doing on your own fucking feed. And you bet your fucking ass that I have monitored every single ex-boyfriend I've ever had in this way. Like, it just was, what a fucking nightmare. Like, I have no words to describe how like horrible this is for your own brain, for your own psyche. I can't believe that it took them so long to get rid of it, that they even had it in the first place.
It kind of reminds me of best friends on Snapchat.
Yes.
Like,
oh my God, that's a good one too. That's a good stalker one.
Yeah, that was like, I remember my like freshman year high school boyfriend. When we broke up, I would like always check his Snapchat best friends
always,
to like make sure he wasn't Snapchatting
to see
other
what
girls.
bitches he's talking to. Yeah, always. You always have to check.
That's
and
where
see.
you would get the tea.
100%. That's where you had to check and see what bitches they're snapping, because in that case too, with the Snapchat best friends, if you don't remember, that was like it would show, if you clicked on them, it would show the top 3 people you snap the most. So if somebody's snapping back and forth with some hussy, it's easy to find out. And so it was terrible. And I think too, I know, I had a friend who would always find herself in bad positions like this, being like, damn, can you snap me a bunch to like get so-and-so's snap out of my thing? I don't want so-and-so to see it and like think anything of it. When in reality, yeah, they should be thinking of it. But that was another thing where it was like, if you just want to get caught fucking around, you open up the Snapchat friends thing, you open up the following tab, just all these things just make you want to die all day long. Another one of my favorites. This is one that I never think to do, but so many of my friends do it. It's the tagging locations and searching them. So say you're at like, this is one example that I think that I'll try to clean it up is to not use any names or anything obvious. One time we were all on a bachelorette party for one of my friends, and her fiance was on his own bachelor party at the same time, and I guess one of his friends had posted an Instagram from like the club they were at or wherever they were. And my friend was searching through the location tag at the other photos that were tagged in that night to see if she could find her fiance, like in the background of photos, which is genius, obviously genius. Something that like I just never even occurred to me during my like high days of stalking. This was like just honestly the smartest thing you could ever do. So fucking creepy though, because it works every time. There's always some like lineup of girls, you know, peace signs, whatever, and then your fiance's in the background, definitely talking to some girl, like screaming in her ear. That's just how it goes at a club. It's insane. Like it's so nuts, and I'm glad that kind of bypassed me a little bit. Next on the list is just using a Finsta. Using a Finsta at all is stalkery. Is creepy, is weird. I have a fake Instagram that I don't post on. It just exists, and I use it to creep. And that's like the only thing that I have for it. There are people who who make fake Instagrams and make them look convincing and start like getting involved in people's lives. Like that's fucking nuts. Need people to know that that's nuts. But I think that it happens a lot. People will start off and they're like making a fake Instagram. They're gonna make it for their dog, or they're gonna make it for their you know, new business venture they're trying to get into, something weird like that. And it ends up just being like a Finsta that they stalk people from. And so if you are guilty of that, or if you've ever been guilty of that, yeah, you've had stalker behavior. I also think too, why people do that is because another stalkery thing is seeing who watches your Instagram stories. And it's always easy to tell who's looking at your Instagram stories but not following you, because you start to recognize people, especially if it's like someone you aren't friends with or someone who you know like might be creeping on your shit, and they pop up on your thing shamelessly. It's like, bitch, you are just shamelessly looking at my stories. Like, I can see that you're looking at my stories. I can see when everybody that I don't want looking at them is looking at them. And it's kind of, I can't tell if it's like validating or not, but I do think that it's smarter to have a Finsta to look at stories so these people don't know that you're looking at their lives all the time. Like, do you want to give them that validation? Like, I don't know. Gia, do you use a Finsta ever for this purpose that I'm describing?
I used to, like, I kind of just recently deleted it, but I used one like all throughout high school and like halfway through college. It wasn't like to like look at other people's pages though. It was kind of just like to post like shit posts, you know what I mean?
Yeah. See, I never, that like missed me. I never got into having the fake Instagram just to post like shitty posts or just me and my friends. We never, I don't know, we just like started a group chat. Like we never have like done that through Instagram.
I don't know,
but, like,
it was such a big thing in my high school.
It was. Everybody
know why.
had it. Everybody had it. I just like never, that bypassed me. I was too busy keeping all my fake like stalker ones straight. Like I couldn't have like a real other Instagram that I needed to keep up with. Like, no, I just needed to make sure I wasn't leaving a trace anywhere I was going when I was looking at people's stories. And then, all right, the last one is something that I didn't know was so prevalent, and I've since watched a few TV shows, documentaries, heard some stories, heard some things. People sending fake text messages to other people, like using these apps. There's like a handful of apps where you can just make fake phone numbers and send messages to people, call people, do whatever, and it's just like no fucking problem. It happens all the time with like people getting bullied on the internet. If somebody gets your phone number, people make these accounts and like, you know, fuck your shit up. And it's something that I'm still scratching the surface of, because I think that there are a lot of people that are running around doing this kind of shit. Like, I don't know why they would be doing it. Like, maybe it's like, I'm trying to scare somebody, I'm trying to intimidate somebody, I'm trying to get attention, I'm trying to, you know, I don't know. There's a multitude of reasons to be sending fake text messages to people, you know, and I just don't ever want that to be a thing, because that is scary to me. Like, I think if I get a fake text message that's like threatening my life, or even if it's from somebody and it's not threatening, I'm like low-key calling the police. Like, I don't fuck with people that like maybe have my number. Like, if they know who I am and I don't know who they are, I'm blocking and I'm calling the police. And if I'm getting a barrage of text messages or something like that, I'm again blocking and calling the police. Like, I don't get how people like go back and forth with these like fucking lunatics. I guess it's the same way people go back and forth with like freaks in the DMs, but Oh my God, this apparently is just like a whole thing. Gia, do you know about this? Like, do your friends fuck around with this and like, play pranks on each other and stuff?
No.
I've been hearing about it and like, I've been reading articles and stuff about it. People like getting, I don't know, like
That's
wrapped
like
up in this.
That's like kind of intense.
It's very intense. It's very intense.
Yeah, the only thing that kind of reminded me of was I don't know if you've ever used like Prank Dial. You know what that is?
No, but I feel like I would know the. I feel like I would know the concept.
Yeah,
like,
you
just make prank phone
put
calls?
in a friend's phone number and it calls them, and then it's like an automated voice.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah.
Weren't Bree and Grace doing that to people for a while, like online or something?
Probably.
Like, I feel like
oh
something
yeah,
was
I think
happening
they
like
did
that.
it to like Feidelberg or someone.
Yeah,
that was
Some
really
shit
funny.
like that. Yeah.
But
so I think
no,
that
never fake texts.
That's it's just wild shit.
Yeah.
It's wild shit.
Oh, what about that? Have you ever seen that like fake like STD text?
No.
That people
What's
do?
that? Tell me everything.
I see it on like TikTok and like Twitter sometimes, but people will like send like a you're getting like an anonymous message from blah 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 health department, like they tested positive for like this STD and like you need to come in and get checked.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and like
Dude.
girls like do it to like their ex-boyfriends and stuff.
It's like, what the fuck is going on in this world? So number one, like, I love that. I would love to do that. But then at the same time, I'm like, if that's done to me, I'm freaking the fuck out. Like, I just like, this is like my forever double-edged sword is I want to do all these creepy things. They're hilarious, but they're not so funny when you think about them being done to yourself. That's horrifying. It's insane. It's insane. I want to hear your calls about it. I want to hear your thoughts about it. Let's hit a break real quick. And when we come back, 888-STOOL22, let's chat. And welcome back to On the Other Line. I am your host, Kelly Keegs. We're here on a Sunday. We're talking about stalkers. We're talking about bad behavior. We're talking about the kind of behavior that you don't want to talk about, that you don't want to admit to. You don't want to own up to the fact that you've been a creep. You don't want to own up to the fact that you've been crept on. I don't know why you wouldn't. I'd be talking shit about that all day long if I was having stalker situations happen to me. But call in, tell me your stories. Let's chat about it. 888-STOOL22 or the regular number, 888-786-6522. So give a call. Give us a call and we will chat about it. In the meantime, Gia, let's play a couple of the DMs I was getting. Not play, show a couple of the DMs I was getting. I was asking. I always try to do both. I do a little bit of DMs. We get the calls and we do voicemails. So I'd like to see what you guys have to say. I think that a lot of people. This is a weird one. This girl kept looking at my stories. She didn't follow me. She knew my boyfriend at the time, and kept being the first to look at my stories. I posted lemons on my story for like a month because her last name was of that nature. I even blocked her, then unblocked her to see if she would stop and take a hint. I have done this. I have absolutely done this to people, and I'll tell you what, they don't take the hint. No one is ever taking the hint when you get blocked and unblocked. They definitely see it and they definitely panic a little bit about it, but they know that you're gonna unblock them because it's like you wanna see if they keep coming back. Like that's how I felt anyway. Like I was blocking people were watching my stories. Now I see it as like, oh, you wanna see what the fuck I'm up to? Like that's okay, like that's interesting. Why, are you worried? Like why are you scared? Like it's kind of that kind of vibe. It's ridiculous and crazy, but I think I would rather that than not like someone seeing my stuff and not knowing about it, which is how I operate. I do the silent on the side. I'm always looking, but you never know that I'm there. I like that a lot more than the very obvious I'm here and I'm watching. I also think that, Gia, do you think that girls do this? Yeah, definitely. Girls do this way more than guys, right? Like I feel like guys are for sure guilty of these like behaviors as well. But it's the girls, man.
I know. I hate to like say it, but it definitely is.
We're setting us back. You know what I mean? Like,
I can't help it. You know what I mean?
You know what it is? Because I'm so fucking nosy. I'm just so nosy that I want to know everything that's going on all the time. I never want to be surprised. I never want to be like have my shit rocked. Like I just always want to know exactly what the fuck is going on. I always think somebody's lying to me. I always think somebody is just making shit up. Like that's why I'm looking all the time. Like I just always am under these assumptions that I want to be proven wrong by looking and my suspicions not being confirmed and me just feeling like an idiot. I'd rather feel like an idiot after stalking somebody than have the wool pulled over my eyes and know nothing. I don't know what that says about me, but that's just how I feel about that. Let's throw up another one. Let's see what else they have to say. Is it normal to do a background check on someone? I don't know. I mean, my question really is like, do you have access to a background check? I think if I had easy access to giving background checks on people, I would do it all the time. I think that if anybody that comes into my life, any new friend, any new foe, I'm looking it up if it's easy to do. I don't think it's normal to like go out of your way, to like pay for it. I feel like there's all these opportunities where you can like pay for a background check online, and it gives you like their home address and it gives you all the other bullshit. That to me feels silly. So I wouldn't want that. But I think that if you have the resources to do this, why not? I don't know. Gia, would you do a background check on somebody?
No. I guess it depends. Like, no, I would never like pay for that.
Yeah.
But if I say I was like going on a Hinge date or something like that, like,
yeah,
I would just have my friends. Like, you always have that one friend that's like really good at investigating.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
I would just be like, hey,
that.
is this guy like normal? Can you check it out for me?
100%. I think that, like check out the guy, check out their Instagram, check out like what's going on kind of in their life. I think full background check isn't totally necessary unless, I don't know. I'm envisioning this person having access to this background check situation. Maybe they grew up in a FBI household. Like, or maybe you're the president's daughter. Like, it's a situation like that where it's like, all right, yeah, everybody has to get a background check because I'm either famous or my like parents are skeptical of people walking around. Like, that stems from somewhere. You don't just like suddenly decide, hey, I want to give every single person I come in contact with a background check. Like, that is learned behavior for sure. So I don't know really where that comes from, but like I said, if I had the option to do it, I probably would. Like, it's just like, I don't know, why not? I don't know. Like I said, I don't trust anybody. I'm too nervous, too nosy, all the above. Let's do another one. I had a guy leave me a Cupid statue on my windshield facing into my car. This story I actually know more detail about because it's from my mother. My mom, it's crazy how my mom has a story, like every single one of these. And they're good stories. Like if my mom didn't give me good stories, I just wouldn't say it. And we've talked about this before. She's always like, you don't have to bring it up if you don't want. I'm just contributing, whatever. And I'm like, no, because every contribution so far has been perfect. This one is no exception. She one time was dating some guy who like showed up at her house in the middle of the night and put a Cupid statue like on her windshield underneath the windshield wiper to like hold it in place. So when she got in the car, it was like facing her as she was in the car. And then later on, oh, she'll kill me for not remembering. Oh yeah, later on he also put a giant Reese's cup on top of her car or something. She was living with her sister at the time, and her sister was like, I'm afraid that this man's gonna like chop you up and put you in soda bottles. Like something is wrong with this man. This shit's weird, and whatever. And I am with my aunt on that one. I am not wanting little surprises like that. I don't want to come up to my car, which is like outside, and I have to worry about like, are you still here? You know what I mean? Like, you left these things on my windshield, but are you creeping around the corner with some chloroform and gonna drag me in the back and cut my legs off and cut my head off and leave it on my parents' doorstep? Like, how is this? What's gonna happen here? I don't want any of that bullshit. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, my mom almost, she could have lost her life that day. It was crazy. Thank God she ended up marrying my dad and not this freak with a Cupid statue. So, fuck that. Absolutely not. What else do we have, G? Had to get a new number because I blocked my ex and he kept texting me from those weird text apps. Yeah. This was another thing this came up today, obviously before I even was saying anything about these weird text apps, but they are just like on and popping all over the place. And I feel like that has to be illegal somehow. Like, I feel like how can...
I was literally just thinking that.
You know what I mean?
How is it legal, and how, like, do they get the numbers? You know what I mean?
It's like, I've seen one of the apps. I'm not even gonna say the name because I feel like it perpetuates.
You don't want
know
to
what I
give
mean?
people
Like, I don't
ideas,
want crazy bitches to like come and like. I'm not telling you to take notes right now. This is like for once, it's like an app where it auto generates like random numbers. So whatever, if you have the phone number that you're trying to like send text to or call or whatever, you plug it in and then it just generates fake numbers for you. Now I don't understand how this happens, how it is legal, how it is so prevalent that I have DMs like, people are doing this. I had to block my ex. He kept texting me from those weird apps. Like, we're talking shit about girls. Girls do this shit all the time, but guys do it too. Like, how do these people think that that's like a normal thing to do? Like, I don't know. If somebody doesn't want to talk to me so bad that they block my number, I'm not going to say that I haven't tried to get in contact with them multiple ways once that happens, because I have. Email. It's always email. Just email. I think that It is concerning, though, if you continue to be so persistent when someone has blocked you. Like, obviously, they don't want to talk to you. Something is wrong. Maybe, like, leave it be for a while, let it cool off, and then, like, send an email or something non-threatening. Like, don't send physical mail that gives, like, kidnapper vibes. Don't send, like, you know, don't make fucking fake text apps. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Don't do that. It's all insanity. Like, if somebody doesn't want to talk to you, they don't want to talk to you. Like, what are we going to do here? Like, I feel like people have to remember that. I feel like there was definitely a point where I needed to remember that too. There's been times throughout my whole life where I've had to remember that. Like, I don't know, you get dumped, or you're in a fight with your friend and you just want to, like, keep going. You just want to, like, keep talking, keep sending messages, keep fighting, like, whatever it is that you're doing. And sometimes it becomes too much. You just have to stop, cut that shit out. You can't make these fake numbers. It's just insane. It's insane. Let's see, what else do we have? I had a girl drive by my old house all the time. I lived on a dead-end street, not near them. This is a tale as old as time. I think that this maybe is like the most common form of stalking, just like drive-bys with your friends. I think that once somebody knows where you live, especially in high school, if you, like, have parties at your house or you've had people over your house, there's always that moment where, like, girls will all be in a car together or guys will all be in a car together, and they're driving around. Maybe they're hanging out. Maybe they're smoking some weed. They're doing whatever they are doing in the car. And they are, like, happen to be in your neighborhood, and they happen to drive by. And, oh, let's see who's over there. Are they having people over? Are they hanging out? Are they alone? What's going on? That's always, like, the justification and the intention for you and your group of rowdy friends to drive by someone's house unannounced. It's always, like, in good fun. In reality, that's fucking crazy. It's crazy. And I have been in the car driving by people's houses before, 100%. I have never had that happen to me as far as I know. I don't know how I would react. I think that I probably love it because I love the attention. That's just like a big attention thing. But I also think, like, my family would be pissed. Like, I think if my parents knew that somebody was driving up and down the street, like, trying to creep on my house to see if I'm home, they'd be like, hey, Kelly, you need to figure it the fuck out. Like, get in the street and sort that out. Like, I don't want these people driving up and down. This is insane. What are you doing? So I don't think that would fly at all whatsoever in my house or anywhere near my house. I do know that all my friends that I have done that with, it felt very much in good fun at the time. Like, it didn't feel crazy or stalkery or weird or whatever, but it definitely was, in retrospect. It certainly was. So, my God, it's a self-realization, growth, all these things are hard. It's hard when you have to realize that you were like a freak, creep, you know, psychopath. So we're all learning, we're all growing. Let's hit a break real quick, and then we'll come back. Call 888-STOOL22. And welcome back yet again. We are here in the middle of our Ask the Stars segment. We have a caller here. Sam from Ohio wants to talk about LinkedIn stalking. Ooh, one that I forgot about. Sam, what's going on?
Hi, Kelly. How are you?
Oh, I'm fabulous. How are you?
I'm good. So I think that you are missing LinkedIn. I actually probably use the most for my stalking abilities, and it's nice because you pay for LinkedIn Premium. They can't see the viewed your profile.
Yes.
Because, like, on LinkedIn, you can see, like, oh, Kelly Keys just viewed my profile. So if I pay for LinkedIn Premium, then you get out of that, which is good.
And you can just right, you can stalk to your heart's desire. I completely forgot about the LinkedIn, like, business aspect of the stalking, to know what the hell is going on with everybody, what kind of jobs they're at, especially right when they get out of school. That was, like, the biggest thing we all did, was try to check and see, like, who's getting jobs, who's hanging out here, who's hanging out there. And paying for LinkedIn Premium is worth every single penny, so you can freely stalk people and it not alert them to the fact that you're looking at their page all the time.
Oh, totally. And, like, ex-boyfriend, like, so I graduated from college a year ago. My ex-boyfriend, I still, like, look on LinkedIn to see if he's, like, sharing posts or liking posts. I'm like, what is he up to? Because it's a different type of, like, personality that people exude on LinkedIn. Like, it's way more corporate.
Yeah,
so,
like,
you can kind of see what they're like.
100%. I feel like it's just another vessel for us all to torture ourselves. It's another way to kind of cross-check our notes. It's another way to decide, hey, you know, is some shady shit going on right now? I'm going to have to go ahead and check this out and comb through your business activity, because now I'm also thinking, like, you're stepping out, you're two-timing. So I can't. It's a stressful thing. It's a very stressful thing.
Like, if you were if you're at a job for like 6 months, it's like, oh shit, what happened?
I know, I love that. I love that gossip too. And the new, I love when people start putting up their corny ass photos, like their, like their business photos, and they have to be professional. They have to be that shit, whatever. But once you see like all the dickbag frat boys that you went to school with putting up their like really polished in a polo shirt with like a blazer on, that you know that there's definitely still like beer and vomit on from all the formals you went to, as like a side profiled, hello, here I am, let me like do your real estate. Like that's, no, it's too much for me, but it cracks me the fuck up.
Consulting headshots are like, hey, like,
always
consulting will let me know. It's like, I will really not let you know.
100%. I also love too, I love when people a couple years down the line reach out for like, not business help, but like trying to reach out in like a business way. Like, hey, I've actually seen that you have a couple of connections that might benefit me. I'd love to have a call with you, and blah blah blah. They like, excuse me. They like come out of their lives, come out of this hole or whatever, and then they just try to get into your like business life. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. LinkedIn is a place that I always am forgetting about now because I never have to be on it, but I lived on that shit. Like I was all over LinkedIn. I was always monitoring what the fuck everybody was up to business-wise, and that was a time I don't need back. I don't need to be still stalking on LinkedIn. Not even close.
Yeah, no, it's tough out here, especially when like you're so young and you're like, this is all bullshit. Like we're all like getting drunk on the weekends still.
Completely.
No kids yet.
Completely.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough here for 23-year-olds on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like the hottest time to be on. That's the hottest time to be creeping, hottest time to be all over it. And in the next couple of years, yeah, it's gonna be a bloodbath on LinkedIn. That's a fact. Sam, thank you so much for calling. I appreciate it. You're the greatest.
Thank you so much.
I'll talk to you later. Oh my goodness, I had to hang up on Sam, and I'll be honest, I heard maybe one word of what she said. The thing is so, for some reason my little guy here, my ear guy, is very crackly today, and so I'm having a hard time hearing everything, and that I hope that I've replied to all that conversation in the correct way, because whoa, I could not hear it. But that's nobody's fault. That's just this thing. It happens sometimes. So that was good. But the LinkedIn stalking just brought up a memory for me. Something that I still do, but not as much, is Venmo activity stalking. Gia, do you ever do that?
Yes,
Yes.
I'll admit it.
I was like, yes. It's so hard not to. It's so hard not to. It's just too easy. They make it so easy to do all these things, and that's what's the problem.
It's so easy, but then like the people that I would stalk, they changed to private.
Well,
And
yeah,
I was
that's
like,
the
what
worst.
the fuck? Like, did they know that I was looking at their stuff?
Probably. Like, who knows how they know? Maybe they had that feeling, like, the song that I always feel like somebody's watching me. Like, maybe they're just singing that in their head, walking down the street, being like, I gotta close up my Venmo because we got Gio over here checking and see what I'm up to.
I might
but
have
that's a thing too.
accidentally liked something or something. Have you ever done that? Like stalk someone on Instagram and accidentally
like stuff?
an old
Yes,
picture?
I did it one time in my entire life history. I'm gonna knock on every bit of wood in this whole place so I never do it again. It was the worst feeling I've ever had. It was
it gives you a pit in your stomach. And I did it with a girl, like not even like an ex or anything like that.
Oh yeah, just like
this
a random
girl that I like kind of knew, and I just like, was looking at all of her Instagram. I don't know why, and like from a picture from like 2015, I by accidentally liked. Instant pit. I was like, I can't breathe. I don't know where I am. I can't believe I just did that.
No, it literally makes you sick.
And she definitely like sent it to her friends, like Gia Mariano just liked my picture.
100%.
What the fuck?
Because they did that, and and then especially going back to like the following tab, that shit would stay in that news feed even when you unliked it. So it was like living there, haunting you forever. Like there was no escaping what you had done, the mistakes you had made. It's so bad. I try really hard. I'm very diligent about how I scroll on Instagram. I'm like barely touching my phone. I do it like an old lady where I'm just like, no, it has to be this way, because I'm so afraid to like be scrolling, and sometimes I feel like my thumb will be like twitching and I'll like photos, and most of the time I'm lucky and it's like a photo I probably would have liked anyway, or it's like some nature scene, some bullshit that I follow and repost all the time. But I think that there's just too much risk out here. We're all at risk for getting caught creeping on each other because we're all so fucking nosy. Gia, I want to read to you. I didn't send this to you because it was really long, but I have it in my phone, thankfully. It is a stalker story from a girl that I thought was crazy. Are you ready to hear it? I'm going to read it in a dramatic tone.
I am very ready.
Okay. Stalker story. So I had dated this guy for 4-ish years, super manipulative, emotionally abusive. Finally broke up with him right before a big international summer trip I was taking. He knew some vague details about the trip since we were dating when it was planned. Like he knew the airports I'd be flying in and out of, the week I'd be coming home, but not the exact dates and times. He would message me constantly while I was on my trip and became increasingly creepy. I had to block multiple phone numbers, social accounts, and email addresses. Oh shit, email usually is the way you get in there. Email addresses to avoid hearing from him. At one point, he had bought a ticket and boarded a flight to the country I was in, but he was too scared to fly, so he got off the plane before making the trip, thank God. Fast forward to the end of summer, I was coming home. He drove 8 hours from our hometown to the international airport I was flying into, bought a ticket so he could get into the airport, and sat waiting for me to arrive outside of customs. He didn't even know the day and time that I was coming home, no clue to this day and how long he sat waiting there. So she has no idea how he ever knew that she was going to be there at that time. Keep in mind, I had zero clue about this because I had blocked him everywhere. I later found out he hit up my entire family, mom, grandparents, sister, grandparents, that's crazy, trying to plead his case and tell them to beg for details about when I was coming home. They refused to give the details, but it didn't end up mattering. I get through customs and am making my way through my connecting flight gate to get me all the way home when I hear a voice behind me. A pretty girl shouldn't have to carry her luggage by herself. At first, I thought it was some rando airport creep, and I was turning around to laugh it off and carry on. You know how it goes. And then I saw it was him. Honestly, I was a little scared because I knew what it would have taken to even get in there and sit waiting for me. I didn't even know what to do or say. I froze, basically. He pleaded his case and said things like, no one will ever love you like I do, despite all the stuff you've put me through. I still want to be with you forever, etc., etc. I was like, no thanks, and kept walking. Looking back, I should have found security to help me, but I was so shocked I didn't even think of it. I called my grandma to talk to her on the phone the entire time I was waiting, so I didn't have to talk to him. But he legit followed me through the entire airport, waited outside the bathroom, waited next to me in line for coffee, stood next to me while I waited at the gate and boarded the plane. He expected me to literally leave with him and ride 8 hours back home in his shitty car instead of a 2-hour flight home so he could profess his love to me and we'd live happily ever after. Finally, time to board the flight, he hands me a burned CD. Yeah, we're not over yet. And he wrote me a song. He wasn't even a musically gifted person. A folder with a handwritten letter, a gift card to Dunkin' Donuts, and a bag of Sour Patch Kids, my favorite coffee and candy. Forces a hug and said, this won't be the last time I hug you. As I board the plane, I drop everything he handed me, aside from the gift card and the candy, in the trash can, in his full view. Not gonna turn down coffee and candy. Facts. Don't throw away a gift card, that's just a waste. I get home to my family, go on with my life, a year or two passes, start dating a new guy, and I get engaged. He starts again with reaching out to my family and friends to try to get a hold of me, flashing pictures of him holding a gun, threatening my fiance, saying things like, I'll be here waiting for her when she's divorced with 3 kids in 3 years, etc. It goes on and on. I was legit terrified to post anything on social about my wedding planning, wedding countdown, etc. because even though I had him and all of his friends blocked on my socials and on private, he somehow kept figuring stuff out. I was afraid he'd show up at my wedding day and stop the ceremony or something. Thank God he didn't. Now it's been about 6 years since the whole thing and I haven't heard from him in that time, but it's always in the back of my head that he'll show up out of the blue one day, and that's my stalker story. That, to me, might be the scariest, story I've heard as of late.
That is fucking insane.
Is that not out of control?
I can't even believe that.
I have seen this happen. I've seen guys hover around girls that have asked them to leave them alone before and just, not fucking leave. And it, to me, looks like, are you okay? Did somebody turn your brain off? What's wrong with you right now? Why are you following this person around when they've asked you to leave? Why are you lingering outside of a bathroom? Why are you hanging out behind them in line at an airport? All that shit is bizarre. Why are you buying tickets to sit around customs for them to come out? What could be going through this person's mind for him to think that any of that behavior is normal or acceptable or, I don't know. Do you think it's like a delusions of grandeur thing where they see too many rom-coms and they think this is the way, I'm making an effort and I'm stalking this girl within an inch of her life off of an international flight and this is the only way she's gonna love me? I just don't understand where that desire or mentality comes from. And then to obviously, however many years later, she's got a new boyfriend, new fiance, and he's threatening with a gun. He's fucking crazy. It's obviously this guy's crazy. This shit's, shit is not right. And I don't really know what you do in that scenario. That's like, I think that's just like call the police, get a restraining order. Like, is it so hard to call the police and get a restraining order? Like, I feel like I say that all the time. Like, oh, if I got a stalker, I'll just call the police, get a restraining order. I feel like, is it that easy? Because if it is, I feel like there has to be, a few more restraining orders.
I think it's not hard to get a restraining order, but I don't think they can last that long. I don't really know how restraining orders work, to be honest, but I know that if you want to get one, you have to get it approved in court.
Right, you probably have to go to court a little bit.
And
you know what I mean?
You have,
something.
it's 3 weeks or something like that, 8 weeks. You have to get a certain amount of time approved, and then once the restraining order is up, I think you have to go back to court and get it renewed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that all makes a lot of sense. I guess I just in my head, on every TV show I've ever seen, someone's like, I'm getting a restraining order, and then 5 minutes later they have a restraining order and all is solved. There's nothing to worry about. So I don't know. I think in this scenario, you gotta go restraining order, you gotta call the police, you gotta ask security. You wanna believe this person's bad, but clearly they're bad, they're freaking you the fuck out. It's nuts. There's too many crazy people out there. You have to keep your head on a swivel. Let's hit a break and then we'll come back for our last segment of the night. Welcome back to the end of our show. Our last segment, I like to call it Last Call. It is where we play a couple of voicemails, and I'm excited about it. So let's play some voicemails. Gia, let us play Christmas Gift first.
So I have a great story about stalking. My name is Paige. I'm from Wisconsin, and my ex-boyfriend was weird as fuck. So shortly after high school, he fucked me over all throughout high school. I just want to put that out there. We dated kind of on and off through high school, and he was an asshole the whole time. And then after high school, he decided, okay, I actually want to date you now. And I was just really over it. So we made out one night, obviously. And then after that, I was like, okay, that wasn't that serious. I just wanted to make out. And he got really attached. So he would text me 4 or 5 times a day. I was still living at my parents' at the time, and he would drive by multiple times a day. I would be sitting on my porch and I would see his car, and then I would ignore him, and for months and months and months, he was the only one talking. I would just ignore him. And then on the day before Christmas Eve, he texted me that he wanted to give me his Christmas present, and I was like, I don't fucking want it. Just throw it away. I don't want any relationship with you. And he was like, well, I'm going to set it on your doorstep. Please just open it. I worked really hard on it. I want you to have it. So I didn't go check on it for hours because I was convinced that the gift was him, and he was just going to ambush me and force me to talk to him.
Smart thinking.
But I finally went up there 3 hours later to get the present, and it was a drawn picture of me, one of my senior pictures that he drew, and it wasn't that good, and it was super fucking creepy, and it was framed, and I was like, this is not it. So I opened the frame, and he also had written me a love letter about how much he loved me and how much he wanted to be with me.
Always.
And yeah, I found it so creepy. I wanted to throw up because it was disgusting. And when my mom saw it in the morning, she was like, oh, that's sweet. And I was like, is it though?
No.
Anyways, that's my story about stalking. I went on to date him a few years later, which was a huge mistake, but we don't have to talk about that. Bye.
Yeah, I think that if someone has broken up with you, you don't have to give them gifts anymore. You don't have to draw them portraits of themselves based on their senior year portraits. You don't have to write them love songs when you're not a singer. You don't have to drive by their house all the fucking time. Just don't do these things. The buying gifts for someone who's already broken up with you is tough. I can't judge too hard. I think I've definitely at least well, I already bought this gift before we broke up, so you might as well have it. Similar situations to that. I think that 6 months of not talking to anybody or not having any sort of conversation, clearly not dating, clearly not doing any of these things, to then find out that you've just been held up in your room making a sketch, an amateur sketch of an amateur sketch is being made of you, yourself, a copied photo. What did he take a photo of it while in your house and then just propped up his phone and sketched it freehand, looking at the photo? That's fucking strange. Just stop doing strange shit. There's just no need for this. There's just no need for this. Stop leaving weird gifts. Please stop. All right, let's go to personal stalker.
Hi, Kelly. I'm calling in about the stalker topic, and I just listened to your Instagram story, and my story is me stalking stalking you. I had actually seen you in the West
Little
Village,
old me.
looking fabulous in your stunning outfit and shades outside of Rosemary's. And I said to my friend that I was with, holy shit, that's Kelly Keegs. I've always wanted to run into her. And here's my chance. And we chased you for about 3 blocks because you walk really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And you had your headphones in listening to Harry Potter. And eventually I pussied out and just turned around because the bar we were going to was the complete opposite direction. But it was quite hilarious, and that's my story. Goodbye.
Yeah, word to the wise. If you're going to catch me on the streets of New York, it better not be when I'm on my way to brunch, and I'm definitely a little bit late because I'm going to be just Hot Wheels. I'm rolling. I am running. I'm either listening to loud ass music or I'm listening to Harry Potter, and nobody else exists except me and the brunch I'm about to go to. And that is, I know exactly this day. I don't remember seeing this person. I did see another person that same day, and I felt bad because I was so out of it, like listening to my headphones and not paying attention. But yeah, I'm a fast bitch. You can't catch me, really, on the street. You can't. So you can try to stalk me. Half the time, nobody knows what I look like, which is great. But what's better about it is that I'm just too fast for these hoes. I'm too quick. I was dying to get to that focaccia bread at Rosemary's and meet up with my friends. So there was just no way that you're ever going to catch me. There's no way that you can stalk me to death because, like I said, I'm too fast. I did have a great outfit on that day. It was a white coat with purple gloves that I bought, both of those pieces, solely because Samantha from Sex and the City was wearing them both on an episode. I was watching it with my brother. Shout out to my brother. And I bought it from Amazon immediately. So that was perfect. Gia, let's do, we had one more thing come in. It was a voice note through Instagram, which, do you guys like doing that? Let me know if you like to do that, because I never thought about that, but lately people have just been sending voice notes through Instagram DMs a lot. And if that's something that's like more fun than calling in the voicemail line, like we can go ahead and do that. But this person called in asking about, not about stalkers, but asking for a little bit of advice. So I wanted to give a little bit of advice, if possible.
Hello, my favorite person ever at Barstool. I'm voice messaging you because I don't know. I literally keep messing up. Okay, I'm voice messaging you because you've already done work on the Not Podcast TV show, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I just graduated from college like 2 weeks ago, and now I'm in the work world, and I don't know what to do. And I feel like you can give me that young, motherly, fresh advice, because you're the only person. I don't know. I just trust you even though I don't know you. So my boss sent me something on Instagram to look at for marketing purposes, and then she followed me. So I'm curious to what your opinion is in adding your coworkers, especially your boss, on your social media. Barstool, I feel like, is a little different because that's all you do. But I'm nervous because I don't want her on there, but she added me, and I felt like I'd get in trouble if I didn't add her back. I don't know. Thoughts, motherly queen?
Love this. Love the energy here. Loved all the compliments. Thank you. I needed them. When it comes to your coworkers and your boss following you on Instagram, I would say that your coworkers is kind of whatever. I would maybe get to know them first before you like let them all the way in. You know, make sure they're not snitches and they're not like gonna, I don't know, snitch on you if ever the occasion arises. I think when it's your boss, if you have a boss who's trying to like be involved or trying to like see what you're up to when you're outside of work or whatever, I would maybe just like block your stories. I don't have to do that here, but in the past, I've blocked bosses from my stories just because I'm like, you don't need to see what I'm up to every minute of the day. Also, sometimes like bosses stalk too, they're creeps too. They'll go on to like the work Instagram, which everybody follows, you know, like everybody, say you work for a brand, everybody follows that brand. They'll go into that brand's Instagram and like stalk your shit. So if you are gonna try to hide stories or block or do things like that, make sure you cover all your bases, because otherwise it does look pointed like you're hiding something. But I also think that bosses specifically, not so much coworkers, but bosses specifically should be understanding of anybody who doesn't want, like a subordinate who doesn't want to be like monitored on social media. Like you don't, I don't know. you don't want your boss to see you out raging on a Sunday or something like that. Like, oh, Sunday brunch, and then you're sick on a Monday, and it's like, well, you were just at brunch getting fucked up all day on Sunday. So like, I can see that you're just hungover and you're not actually sick. There are people that look for those kind of things and try to like hold it against you. But there are other people that don't do that. So I think it really just comes down to like, who's your boss? What's the situation? Is it that big of a deal? Whatever. But yeah, I thought that was good. A little bit of good advice. I love when people think about the old topics and still ask. I will always answer those questions if advice is needed. I also wanted to, I got a text from my mom. I got a text from my dad and from my mom. I'll close the show out with both of those texts. My dad's text was about the Blondie song, One Way or Another, which is a song I love, but it's about, it's like a stalker anthem. It's fantastic. It's an old song. I'm sure everybody knows it if you haven't like heard it before in your life. I don't know where you're living, but whatever. My mom also says to remember that people are crazy, but to be kind about it as well. So she is right. She is right. We should be kind to people who are crazy. We wish them luck. We wish them help. We wish you luck and you help and whatever you're up to, whatever you're dealing with. And we will see you on June 1st at 7 o'clock, our new time. Mwah, mwah, mwah. See you then.